Can everyone hear her properly, or is there any echo or anything that
Hi, everyone.
about?
First time doing a live.
Yeah, this is fun. I didn't know how to use it, but I think it's okay. Is there any echo, anyone? If anyone wants to just tell me if there's an echo or anything, or if it's okay. It's okay. Tanya said it's good. Okay, cool. So we'll just wait like a minute or two
Okay.
for a couple more people to join. And yeah, I think I just hope mine's not echoing, but I think it's okay.
Yeah, it seems fine from my end.
Okay, cool.
Wait, a little nervous.
Don't be. One sec. Is there a way to record it?
I'm not sure if they automatically record.
Yeah, I think it's automatic.
After? Okay. Thanks, Monica.
And also for anyone who can't stay the whole thing, we are gonna be it'll be recorded and we'll post on our Instagram and hopefully our YouTube channel as well. So you don't have to stay for the whole thing if you can't. Okay, we'll just wait one more minute and then yeah, we'll get started. How was work today?
Today?
Yeah,
It's pretty busy.
busy.
We were like doing some sprint planning stuff, and that's always like, how do
Yeah.
we even know what we're supposed to be doing? But it's a great learning process.
Yeah. We have Wednesday off though, so.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, it's interesting because like we have like US interns as well, and they have Fridays off, this Friday off, for Independence Day, I think. So then it's like we're gone Wednesday and they're gone on Friday.
Yeah. It's yeah. Oh yeah, because it's July 4th on.
I think Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's weird having a Wednesday off though.
Right? Yeah, midweek.
Okay, I guess we can get started. So thank you everyone for joining. So this is our first episode in our series called Motivation Mondays. So thank you guys for showing up and thank you Nancy for coming and being part of this. So basically the way this is going to work is every Monday or every other Monday we're going to have someone who's like an accomplished woman in STEM, and then someone from our team will actually just interview them, ask some questions, and at the end anyone in the audience can ask questions as well. Also, I did post right before this an Insta story on the Scientista account in which you can ask questions as well. So if you do have questions, you can put them there. But we do have a pretty thorough set of questions, so you might want to wait till the end, or something may come up later. So that's basically how the course of this will go. We're hoping it'll be like 30 to 45 minutes. We don't really know, but we'll see how the conversation goes. So yeah, this is our very first episode. We're really excited to have Nancy with us. So Nancy just finished third year at UofT, and she's currently an intern at Microsoft Garage. I'll let her introduce herself a bit more because she has a lot of experiences and has a lot of internships under her belt that I'm sure she'd like to talk about. So if Nancy, you could give a quick introduction, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. So hi everyone, I'm Nancy. I'm entering my fourth year at the University of Toronto. So there I am pursuing a computer science specialist with a focus in computational linguistics and natural language processing, as well as a minor in linguistics. So like Kashaf mentioned, I'm currently interning at Microsoft Garage as a software engineer intern. So that's been great so far. I'm week 9 into week 16, so had a great time, met a lot of amazing people. Also, like Kashaf mentioned, I've had a few internships previously in my summers. So after first year, I worked as an IT systems analyst with the government of Ontario. And then my second year, I worked in tech consulting at Deloitte. Yeah. Great. Oh yeah, I also, in the winter term, I worked part-time with the Department of National Defense as a developer as well.
And also one more experience, we're both actually co-chairs of a hackathon. Yeah, that's another thing she's doing. But yeah, great. So the first question I have for you is, When did you first become interested in the tech industry, and was there a moment where you knew you wanted to become a computer programmer?
Yeah, for sure. So I was first exposed to computer science and the tech industry through this introductory course in grade 10, which was like Intro to Computer Programming. It was like Python, and we made graphical games and Py games. So it was like basic stuff, but also really like interesting and really enamored me with computer science, because that way like I was able to really like build and understand all the tech things that I see around me. Also, my teacher then was very encouraging, especially of like the woman in the class, to go into computer science as a program in university. So I decided to apply for computer science at UofT, and then I really like found out that I enjoyed software engineering, especially through my internships, particularly in my last summer at Deloitte, where I really kind of like it was like a that's where I really got exposed to software engineering in general, working in an agile team. Really enjoyed all of that, so here I am today.
Great. So, with that being said, what do you like the most about the computer science field?
Yeah, so I really like that no matter like what other interests you have, once you have the foundations in computer science and tech, you can apply those skills into like any other area. So healthcare or education or finance, you can find developer roles in any of those industries. Tech in general is also growing really rapidly. It's such an amazing time to join the industry, and the environment is constantly changing. So especially with recent events, as you know, we see how like tech solutions are being used to like adapt to these new circumstances. So like using Zoom or Teams to communicate in work or school. So being able to have a hand in that is just, and being able to impact so many people at once is just really exciting.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, especially with everything going on, like technology's really helped us out.
Am I lagging?
It's okay. It's okay. Do you want to take a second to fix it, or is it okay? I think it's okay now. Okay. So,
yeah,
okay.
I think I've caught up now. Out and I can repeat.
I think I heard everything, so I think it should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone wants to
Okay,
comment
cool.
and say they missed something, yeah. No, I don't think anyone. I think it was fine. Okay, cool. So
Okay, cool.
next question is, yeah. So, what traits would you recommend one possess that may indicate an interest or aptitude for your field?
So I'd say like one trait that's really important is adaptability. So like I mentioned before, things in this field are constantly changing. Like languages are always evolving, new frameworks are coming up. So it's really important to be flexible in your work, and with any challenges that you might face. And for this trait to work, to have the foundations down pat. So things in like your introductory CS courses, you'll see those things coming up and again and again, in different areas, so in different contexts. So it's valuable to apply your foundational knowledge in any new solution that you're working on.
Yeah. Sorry, I think you're lagging a little bit, so if I answer a little bit later, that's why. But I think, like, it's caught up now, I believe. Hello? Can you hear me? Technical difficulties? Yeah, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Yeah, I can't hear you. Can anyone comment if they can hear either of us?
So I will just change
Hello?
my network.
This is so odd. Here, one sec. You guys might want to restart. Yeah, okay. I'm actually gonna, like, close it and come back because I think we're lagging a bit. Okay, Tanya says she can hear me fine. Okay, Nancy, I'm gonna take you out and bring you back in. Okay, now it's just me. Okay. Let me get Nancy back. Okay, yeah, Nancy said she'll rejoin. Okay. Sorry guys for that. I'll just wait for her to come back and then I can add her. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll just wait for her. So how's everyone doing? How's your day been today? Yeah, pandemic Wi-Fi. It's been bad. Oh, there we go. I have Nancy. It's been good. It's been busy. I had work. Oh, hi. Hello.
Sorry about that. It was probably my Wi-Fi, so I switched over to data.
It's okay. I just like kicked you out and I was hoping you'd come back. So, like, okay, that's cool.
All good.
Okay, great. You're back. Okay. So, can you actually repeat like the last part of the last question, because I think it might have cut out a bit. Like a reminder, like the question was, what traits would you recommend one possess that may indicate an interest or aptitude for your field?
I think I was talking about the trait of adaptability. So, like I mentioned, things in this field are constantly changing. So, languages are evolving. There are always being new frameworks being made. So, it's just really important to be flexible in your work. And in order to be effective in your adaptability, just having that foundational knowledge in computer science down pat, so those things in your introductory courses, those kind of concepts, data structures, algorithms, you'll see those kind of popping up in many different contexts as you work. So yeah, definitely constant learning, and just being able to adapt that knowledge in different areas, that's especially important.
Yeah, for sure. So as you said, like your current position is as an intern at Microsoft Garage. Can you talk about how you secured that position? Basically like about the application, the hiring process, and just basically any tips and advice for applying to Microsoft.
Yeah, so one thing I really wish I knew before is how early the application process starts for a lot of software engineering internship positions. So the applications for my role personally, they open in July. So that was like halfway through my internship last summer, and already people were applying for the summer after. So a lot of a lot of students in computer science, they actually compile all these sort of like postings and links into kind of central repos. So usually you'll find them floating around online every semester, and they're like great resources to refer to. I'd also say if you know any upper year students in computer science or engineering, they're also great to reach out to, and usually always happy to help and giving advice from their experience. Yeah, so for this position specifically, I went through an online application and then a phone screen and then an on-site interview. So the online application was through the Microsoft website. So they asked for like the typical things, so like your resume, personal information, work experience, and skills.
I think Nancy might have cut off again. Hello? Nancy? Hello? Can people hear Nancy or am I cutting out? Okay. I can't hear her. Can people hear Nancy? Yeah, okay, Nancy's back, but I can't hear her either. Nancy? We can't hear you. I'll message her. Oh no. I don't know why that's happening here. Okay, let me kick you out again. I don't know if she can hear us. I'll remove her. Um, Add her back. Hello?
Okay. Can you
Okay,
hear me
yes,
now?
yes,
So
yes.
sorry about that. I don't know why even my data is slow, but
No,
okay.
it's okay, don't
Um,
worry.
where was I last at?
So you said that there was three parts, and then you were like describing them, and then it just
Okay.
stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, so for this role that I'm at currently, it had like the online application, the phone screen, and the on-site interview. So the online application is just typical questions. So like you upload your resume, they ask for personal details, work experience, and your skills. So like again, just referring to those kind of like repositories of job postings, you can apply to a bunch at once to be very effective with your time. The next stage with interviews, you can expect a mix of behavioral or resume questions and technical questions. So for the first kind of category, what I advise for that is just be familiar with your past experiences and be ready to draw upon those for like any stories, for any of the questions that they may ask. For the technical part, that's something I wish I knew about earlier as well in computer science. So these kind of like test your technical aptitude in working with like data structures and algorithms, and sometimes even being able to optimize upon the ideas that you come up with um, and make better solutions in these interviews. So there are a lot of great resources for technical interviews online. You probably already know about a bunch of them. So like Cracking the Coding Interview book, LeetCode, HackerRank. And yeah, usually these technical questions, they give you like 45 minutes to go through them with usually like a senior software engineer. And usually they're very helpful, but they want to see how you think through these problems. So communication is definitely an important aspect of the technical interview. Um, so yeah, that was my process to getting this role. That happened throughout, I'd say like October to December. Timelines do vary between different companies and different positions, so there's no like one answer for how this kind of goes for every student. So I guess a lot of it just comes with experience. It can be challenging applying, and it can be frustrating, and like getting all those rejections can be like really down-putting, but just push through them, power through them. Everyone has been through this, and you can do it.
Very, very motivating. Good for Motivation Mondays. Um, so can you tell us like about a typical day at your job right now, and what are your thoughts about your current job?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I'm about halfway through. At the beginning, it was like kind of intimidating, you know, like this big name tech company, and a lot of the other students seem very smart, and it kind of motivated me to be better, and also just kind of onboarding to like the code base and everything. It was a lot of like reading through documentation and being scared to, but ultimately reaching out to like the senior devs. But now halfway through, I'm in a comfortable rhythm, getting more used to working from home, and also feeling really confident about the project that I'm working on. So the other part of the question, which was, oh yeah, typical workday. So my day usually starts with like a daily stand-up with my team. So we're a group of interns. So we have a PM, a designer, and a few devs. We all update each other on our progress, what we're planning to work on for the day, and any like blockers or dependencies. And then we go on with our day. We like work on our tasks. Sometimes we'll have the occasional meeting. And then at the end of the day, we'll all check in on our progress and update each other. There are also like some events that happen throughout the term, so like intern socials or workshops or panels. or like hackathons internal to the company as well. And they're all like great opportunities to participate in and learning more about like the company itself and networking as well. So definitely recommend it. I think like a recent event that I really enjoyed was this intern virtual escape room. So we did it all through like video calling. It was really fun.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't know you could do escape rooms virtually. That's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question I have is what are some cool things that people in your profession work on? So what do you think is really interesting that people in computer science do?
I'd say there's just so much like on everything around us, like just anything you could think of has something to do with tech or has something tech affecting it. So there's just so much. But one thing that I did kind of prepare for this question was that I wanted to highlight was like some work that I was doing within Department of National Defense last term. So there's a team there that's working on using COVID case data from this open source data set and also using like different libraries in R and statistical modeling to dynamically map like Canadian COVID-19 cases and also be able to like sort of predict into the future and forecast cases. So like up to a week forward. So it's been really cool. It's like in government, so they've been using it at various levels, and there's just so much impact this kind of work and very relevant to like the current time. So that's just something cool that I wanted to highlight.
Yeah, that's really very, very relevant. Um,
Sure.
so now more into like kind of like the issues as like a woman in STEM. So throughout your study period, have you ever had to experience sexism and or discrimination? And have you noticed any sexism or discrimination in the workplace?
I'd say like coming into the program, especially as a first year, like one of the first things you notice is the gender ratio in your classrooms. Everywhere you look around, it's mostly like guys. So it was kind of difficult at first to find like community and find people who like I can relate to and lean on. And especially like there's that feeling of like if I say something dumb in class, I'd be outing myself as an imposter in this program, like I don't belong here. Or if I say something dumb as well, I'd be like kind of affecting the reputation of women in computer science. So those kind of like are prevalent feelings, and I'm sure a lot of people like relate with that. Um, and like even in like different networking events, finding kind of that representation in industry professionals and leaders, that's a bit hard as well. So there's no real solution to this kind of stuff, but I'd say like good starting points are like finding that community in your program to like empower each other and support each other and share opportunities. So like clubs like Women in Computer Science or Scientista at UofT, those are great places to start and find friends. And also just with this whole gender ratio thing in general, encouraging STEM education at a young age is just a great start and something that I want to kind of participate in, especially because I wish I had that when I was younger.
Yeah. Just to highlight that, I don't know if you've heard, but like Doug Ford just changed the curriculum, so coding starting as early as like grade 1, which is really, really great to hear because people go into university with like no coding experience, and now it's a very, very big asset.
Yeah. I
So
saw so many memes like reversing linked lists in grade 1.
like,
Yeah, definitely a
it'll be
great
fun.
step forward for education.
So what would you say is the biggest challenge you face as a woman in tech?
I guess just like similar to the previous question, just like asserting myself, like kind of convincing myself and other people that I am as strong in like knowledge and like skill set as like male peers. So again, to like deal with this challenge is just having that support network, having that community, and also like just finding supportive friends in this field. So like through those clubs and also the team that I worked with last summer, like I'm still in strong contact with them today. And they're like so amazing to talk to about like the struggles and as a computer science student. So yeah.
Okay, so what does being a woman in a tech field mean to you, and how can you encourage young girls to be more exposed and more interested in tech fields?
So being a woman in STEM and in tech, I think it just like means having like one, the skill set, two, like the perspectives and lived experiences, and three, the drive to be able to like build solutions that not only like solve the problem that you're working on, but that are better for everyone because you kind of come from that like unique perspective as an underrepresented community in tech. So that's yeah,
Yeah.
let me think if I had anything else. Uh, you mentioned encouraging young girls to be more exposed in tech.
Yes.
So I think the main thing I'd like to highlight here is just the value of mentorship. So having someone who's been through similar experiences, who is at like the point in their career journey that you would like to be at, that's just so valuable. And they can share so many like tips and advice to you that like could kind of help you, you know, advance even faster. So passing along that wisdom, that's something like it's very valuable, not only as a mentee, but also as a mentor, because you learn a lot from sharing that with the younger generation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so last question for me, and then if anyone has questions, you can start typing them now, and Nancy can answer them. So the last question I have for you is, what are your future career goals?
Uh, anytime there's like a question like this or like where do you see yourself in like 5 years, I'm like I don't really know. Like I kind of have like immediate plans like oh I want to do like exchange or like more internships, but I don't know exactly in the future. I guess like at this point in like you know university studies I just want to explore as much as I can, especially in industry, so like trying to take on as many internships as I can in different fields. Obviously, I've been able to try government and like tech consulting, and currently now with like big tech. So again, in that vein of exploring as much as I can, but as sort of like a high level of like where do I see myself, it's just I think I'll continue in software engineering, and I really hope to like work on a product or solution that just in general like makes a positive impact on society.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I just
Yeah, so we have a couple of questions. So first one is, what were your previous internships before Microsoft? And maybe you want to go a bit more depth about what you did in those internships?
okay, sure. Hi, Flores.svg. So my previous internships. So starting in first year summer, I interned at the Government of Ontario, so the Ministry of Government and Consumer Services, as an IT systems analyst, which sounds kind of like fancy, but really I was just like working with data and Excel. I didn't get that much into programming yet, but it was like kind of valuable as a first step to like learn what a working environment is like and all that. I worked at a branch that was like kind of focusing on contact center solutions, so that was really interesting. There's a lot of data coming in from like Service Ontario and stuff, so I worked with that. Into second year summer, I was a business technology analyst at Deloitte. So I worked in downtown Toronto. I was mostly doing back-end development work because I was lucky to land a team that was very development focused because I was in the technology consulting service. I thought I had to do like slide deck work, but I actually got to get my hands into some software engineering, and that was a very formative experience for me. So there, shout out to Emotion Plus team. I worked on a sentiment analytics product. So I did the backend for that, working with like Python OpenCV to process video frames, and then I also got to learn how to work with Amazon AWS services. So working with like their streams, their Kinesis application, writing queries in SQL, all that. And yeah, I had a great team there. Learned a lot from my team's tech leads about the whole like agile and scrum process. That was my first exposure to it. Yeah, that was second year. On to third year. So I went to Hack the North with Kisha. And from that, I got the opportunity to work part-time with the Department of National Defense, so in federal government. And that was just like a student developer role in the winter semester. Um, it was definitely attend Hack the North. There's just so many things you can get out of it. And just any hackathon in general. Shout out Hack the Six in August. It's online. You should definitely apply. Applications opening soon. Sorry, that was like total aside. Yeah, so in that role with the National Defense, I was working on like doing some data cleaning in Python and also like some front end stuff for financial modeling. But as like COVID hit and everything was moving like virtual, everyone was like going into quarantine. We decided to shift like the 3 interns we had over to working on that dynamic mapping that I mentioned before. So we were working in R, had to learn R just for this, and we were we used like ggplot, R Shiny to be able to make a web app of those maps, and then these like sort of like dynamic COVID case mapping stuff that was used in like various levels of government and cabinet to like sort of like advise their work in dealing with COVID-19 in Canada. So that was really cool. And then now I'm a software engineer intern at Microsoft Garage. So the Garage, I guess I can go more into that. It's sort of like a startup environment within Microsoft. So we get formed into intern teams of like 6 to 8, and we're working on like a product along with full-time sponsor teams within Microsoft, and it's sort of like end-to-end. We get to see every aspect of building up the product. Definitely the sponsors are very valuable and very helpful. They're always there to like guide us through like dev or PM or design work, and we get to like start from ideation to implementation to testing to like user research, everything, every step along the way. So it's a very cool program. Definitely check it out. And yeah, halfway through that, so that's where I am now.
Nice. Okay, so we actually have a lot of questions. Okay, so another one is, do you have a specific role model that inspired you to pursue CS?
Oh, honestly, not really like a specific, I can't really like pinpoint one person. Like I've had so many like great mentors along the way, so many like up your friends who've like either went into computer science or engineering who kind of like inspired me along the way. And I guess just being able to see the impact of tech like everywhere, like on social media and the news, just having a hand in that is just really exciting. It's exciting to be a part of that. So yeah. Sorry, I can't give you like one person.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to think of one specific person. Okay, the next question is, what drives you to be a software engineer?
Like I mentioned before, sort of like being able to understand how like the things around us work, and also being able to build and add to it. And like if you have any ideas, you can like directly contribute it. I think that's just really like a cool thing to be able to do. Like I've always like kind of like playing with puzzles or like logic stuff when I was younger, so this is a kind of like great way to apply that. So not only that sort of like logistical way of thinking, but also that creative way of thinking. So combining that both and like working as a software engineer is really fun. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So Monica's wondering, what was a challenge you faced at school or work, and how'd you overcome it?
This feels like an interview question. Oh my God, yeah. I'm totally approaching this like interview style, but like the one that I always like refer back to in like the last few interviews I've done is like back to my experience at Deloitte. So in my project that I mentioned, initially starting out, I think given a task to like work with a bunch of words that I had never heard of before. So like I was like given TypeScript, WebSockets, Lambda functions, and I was like, what are all these things? Like I am so lost, I am confused. And it was like really also intimidating because I was just starting out. I was like, I don't want to waste too much of my mentor's time. I should just try to figure this out on my own. So I was like looking up documentation, reading through like Medium articles, just like try to solve this on my own. So like that did help a little, but I think what ultimately helped like overcome this challenge was just reaching out to like my teammates, so fellow interns, and also to like the team leads, because they were just so willing to help and open to give me their time to walk me through this. Like I was just a student, I knew nothing, but they were like so happy to help out, and I find that's really common no matter where you are. Like everyone's always encouraging, supportive, and yeah. So I guess the takeaway from that is just if you need help and you're facing a challenge in school or in work, just like reach out to the people around you. They'll be happy to help.
Just ask.
Yeah. Exactly.
So what advice would you give to first years coming into university?
Oh, something I wish I knew was about posts for UofT specifically. I know it's changed a lot recently, so I guess just like look up the department website and read up on that. Otherwise, first year, I guess like university advice in general, like this, not just for CS, but in general, it's just like take this, like it's such a unique part of your period of your life where there's so many opportunities out there. Like if you go to the clubs for anything, they're just like endless booths of like clubs and student organizations you can join in, and they're all like happy to take you in, especially as a first year. They really want first years. So just take like just grasp those opportunities and like try out as much as you can, because this is a time where like you get to fail, make mistakes, and like you can get up again. And so definitely try out clubs. You get to meet a lot of people through them and like gain so many amazing experiences.
Yeah, for sure. Clubs are actually where Nancy and I met. So, yeah. Okay. So, what advice would you give to second or third years who haven't worked in internships yet? Can you hear me? Okay, we can't hear her anymore. Wait. Okay, one sec. Nancy, can you say something? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Hello? Hello? No, I can't hear you again. Wait, one sec. Let me message you. Oh no. Okay, you can hear me? Okay, Nancy, I'll just kick you out again, real quick. Yeah. And then I'll add her back. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, yes.
Me.
Yes, yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
It's a bit. I don't know if my voice is coming at the right time.
It's coming through just a bit slow, but it's okay. There's only one more question, I think. So the last question was, what advice would you give to second or third years who haven't worked in internships yet?
And I'm assuming like you want to work in internships like in semester. So I guess like just in building up experience. You usually hear like, oh, companies like they might not take in as many first and second year students, so it's hard to build up that resume when you're in second and third year. So I'd say to add to your experiences, there's definitely a lot of like sort of volunteer opportunities, whether that be in like research labs that you're through co-curricular activities. So especially for the latter, you get to pick up so many skills like leadership or event planning or budgeting, and those are great experiences to highlight. How you work with a team, how you work with other people, and those are great things to add to your resume, even if you don't have work experience. So I'd say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah. I think so. Another question came up. How did you prepare for the Microsoft interview?
Yeah. So I did ask around to see like what other people's experiences were like. So definitely, use your network. If you know anyone who's interned there or currently working there full time, they're usually happy to help out. I'd also say there's like a wealth of resources online. So a lot of kind of like interview practice questions and example questions that may have actually been used in like those companies that you are aiming for. So definitely work through those. And what I find really helps is working through those interview practice questions with friends. So in like when you get to do that, you get to talk out your thinking process and try to like explain and share what you're thinking with someone else. And that's like that really builds your communication skills, which is really what they're looking for in these interviews.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, is there any other questions? I don't think so. Okay. Well, I'll assume that it's done. Also, I'm echoing on your end. Like I can hear myself, but it's okay. We're basically done. Um,
Okay.
so yeah. So thank you, Nancy, for coming. I hope it was a valuable experience for everyone who joined. We'll also be posting this on our Instagram and hopefully our YouTube. That's basically it. We'll also be trying to do this either weekly or bi-weekly, so stay tuned to see who's showing up next. We're going to try to do various science fields. But yeah, thank you
Thank you
guys
so
for
much for the
joining.
questions.
Thank you, Nancy, for joining us. Okay, bye everyone.